Pizzaholics. It's one of those days today. It's one of those days. It's the type of day where you put your white shirt on, get your hands full of flour, and start making some pizza, guys. That's right. Stay tuned. Hold on to your napkins, guys. Sit back in that chair. Put on those bunny slippers and pour your beverage of choice. We're about to make some pizza, guys. Let's go eat, folks. All right, guys, so for the dough, it's a 24-hour cold ferment, which means you make the dough, you mix it. I used a mix of Caputo and Pillsbury, all-purpose. Typically, these doughs, this flour is used to make dough for Neapolitan-style pizza, which is cooked in high-heat ovens. So I mixed the flour. I did about, about 150 grams of the Pillsbury and close to about 50-50. So we'll see. I mixed the flours. We'll see how it comes out. 550 degrees. A lot of these new places popping up in the city, in New York City, are made, they make the pizzas with a blend of the flours. They use the Caputo, they mix it up with the high gluten stuff, the all-purpose stuff, and that's what that Pillsbury is. It's just an all-purpose flour, guys. All right, almost done. This dough is stretching really nicely. So when you make the dough, you let it rise room temp for about 3 hours, and then what you do is you cold ferment it, and you put it in an airtight container, and you put it in the fridge. A little bit of yeast. I used you got to use that yeast. Now I'm using a baking steel, aka a crisper. Look for these. They're perforated with holes, and I'm telling you, I get crispy pizza 10 out of 10 times with this thing. I don't use a baking stone. Guys, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut around the edges. The dough ball was too big for my crisper, for my baking steel. So I'm going to cut around it, and so it fits better. I think I could have stretched this dough out to make a 22-inch pie. So it's no problem. It's no problem. Just cut around it. I basically folded the dough over the edges of the crisper, and it makes it easier to cut it. So there we go. Now, I'm not going to make this dough go to waste. I'll make some garlic knots, maybe. We'll see. Maybe I'll make a veggie roll. I got some spinach in the fridge. I got cheese all over the place. And we'll see what we could do with that. And what you want to do now is maybe just give it one more little twirl around the hands. Make sure we get that dough to the very edge of your baking steel. A little bit of EVOO, guys. We're going to use some olive oil. Now, using olive oil like this to kind of baste the crust, what it does is it helps keep that tomato sauce from soaking into the dough too much. And this is probably going to help achieve a crispier crust because of it. And what that's going to do is prevent that sauce from soaking into the dough. Speaking of sauce, guys, I'm using straight up San Marzano tomatoes here, guys. San Marzano tomatoes, simply known as SM. That is the name of this particular brand of tomato. I love it to death. You take that canned tomato, you put it in a blender with some garlic, some basil, and you just blend it up, and then you simmer it for about a half hour, and you got your sauce. No tomato paste, nothing. This is pure tomato, guys. You want to get that sauce to the edge. You know how much I love when that sauce is spread to the edge? That's what we're going to do here, guys. Now I'm going to spoon it on just to make sure there's enough. I don't want to over sauce this. It's very possible to over sauce pizza. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, especially on a thin crust like this, guys. We're going thin crust today, folks. Thin crust. Get it to the edge. A lot of people love thin crust. And I'm hoping to get a good balance here, guys. I want a nice aeration. I want it to be thin and crispy, but I want it to have a slight airy middle and a very delicate chew. A 24-hour cold ferment, which is usually enough for New York style pizza, thin crust pizza. A 24-hour cold ferment is enough, guys. You don't have to go crazy with the 72-hour stuff for thin crust, especially if you want it crispy. I mean, it don't hurt. It don't hurt to put it in the, leave it in the fridge for a little longer. You know, but this is not like Angelo's in Philly. We're going for a DeFara style of crust, or a Danino's, which is thin, New York style, thin. And so 24 hours, in my opinion, is good enough. Look at that, just enough sauce, perfect. That's exactly how you want it, guys. Next, a little bit of locatelli, grated pecorino. This is like Pizzeria Suprema, guys. They pour a ton of this stuff. DeFara as well. If you watch them make pizza at DeFara or Pizzeria Suprema, this is how much grated pecorino or grated hard cheese they put on a pie. It's about that much. All right, guys, I got my thinly sliced scamorza cheese. Now, scamorza is a mild provolone. It's basically aged mozzarella cheese. I love it. It's got more flavor than mozzarella. It's nuttier, and it's a good melting cheese too. It's perfect for pizza. It's kind of like a provolone without that sharpness. It's a mild provolone, similar. Guys, no pizza is complete without some oregano. Fresh oregano here, guys. Fresh oregano, baby. Alright, guys, we're going to apply that pepperoni on half of the pizza. Oven's at 550. I lowered the rack. You want your pizza to be as close to your heat source as possible. And now for the final touch, guys, a little bit of basil, a few sprigs of basil. The sauce already has basil infused into it when I simmered it. A lot of people from New Haven are like, what are those leaves on the pizza? Guys, this is how they roll in Italy, and this is how we roll in New York, guys. Man, let's go dig in. All right, guys, let's dig in. I'm starving. This smells fantastic. The first thing that you get are the herbs, man. Like the combination of the oregano, that fresh oregano, the fresh basil, the basil in the sauce, the cheese. How about that, huh? Yeah, it's a small slice. It's not gonna flop. I get it. Nice color. Look at that beauty. Let's taste it. Nice char running along the brim. Look at that. That's pretty decent color, I think. That's pretty decent color, I think, no? Guys, should I rate my own pizza? I don't want to look like I'm full of myself here. All right, guys, here we go. You ready? Pepperoni. This is the pepperoni slice. Guys, I'm not getting that crispy first bite because it kind of pulled up, the oil kind of pulled up towards the middle. I think I put too much olive oil on the pizza. I goofed there. because it's a crispy pizza. I'm just not getting it on the first bite because it kind of got a little, just a little, on the greasy side. Well, as you can see, guys, it's dripping, but it's far from soggy. It's not soggy though. It's very much firm. The crust is very much firm. It's not as crunchy. It's just not as crunchy as it should be. But guys, flavor-wise, through the roof.
Well, guys, I hope you got a good look at this pizza and enjoyed this little experience in my kitchen. The pizza had some flaws. It was thicker on one side than the other side, mostly due to the back end of the cornicione. The back of the pie was thicker in some spots than other spots of the pizza. But besides that, it wasn't too bad. Maybe I put too much oil on it, or maybe there was too much olive oil in the sauce. It wasn't a perfect pie, but it tasted good.
Well, guys, that about sums it up for this one. I was going to give the pizza a score. That would be silly. Look, you guys got to look at the pizza, and hopefully we all learn from this thing. I certainly know that I am absolutely rusty, and I got to shake that rust off. This channel, man, prevents me from making pizza. I haven't made a pizza in a while, so, you know, you forget things, like to turn the pizza around and little things like that. Got to spin the pizza around in a gas oven, especially, you know, a kitchen oven. And so, but hey, it was a good experience. I had a good time doing this, and I hope you guys had a good time watching. Until next time, guys, keep those bellies full, folks. This is Antonio, signing off.